Forgot to go live on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going through this weird cycle of should I buy the book? Poor YouTube. Poor YouTube has missed like half the show. Should I buy the book? Should I buy Thomas's book? I'm just gonna take this down and upload the proper one on YouTube. And like, a lot of people have like gone through the trouble of like, should I buy the book? Should I bother to pay money for it? Should I engage with it? And I wanted to buy it because I was like, I should read it. Let me see what's going on. I just don't know how to reconcile paying money for it. If I could torrent it, I would, but I couldn't be bothered. I've been too busy with COD. In a lot of art programs, comics is seen as a lower art form. I don't understand why. I don't understand the disdain for comics in a lot of programs. I don't understand why. Yeah, the streams are going on, Margie. I'm so sorry. No one typed anything, so I didn't know. Don't worry. I'm gonna download the Twitch VOD and put it on YouTube, so you will get the part that's missing. My bad. But you still get the live stream, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, YouTube. Sorry, Margie. YouTube makes it really hard to stream because you have to press start streaming, then you have to press go live, and I always forget to press one. Always forget to press one of those two buttons, and there's no like, there's no way to link the two things together. So I've just kind of given up. Comic-Con was a pain in the ass. I'll get to that. I'll get to that part. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's been I'm talking about Thomas Woodruff right now. I didn't say anything because I had it in the background. YouTube, you're supposed to keep me honest. I said I was going live. Like, just say stuff so I don't forget you. I usually forget Twitch, but today I forgot about YouTube, my number one platform, the platform I like the most. I feel terrible, especially now that I'm talking about a topic. I'm talking about Thomas Woodruff. I'm talking about Thomas Woodruff, the guy who hates comics, the graphic opera guy. Cool? Like, I'm just gonna like get you up to speed that way. I'm sorry. But I'm talking about Thomas Woodruff. But basically, lots of accounts, shit guy. That's the main thing. People don't like him. Guy got nominated for 4 Eisners. He has currently withdrawn himself from the Eisners and he's been removed from the Eisner nominations. I didn't vote for him, so I don't care. But like, the dude is like, no account of him is nice. The dude isn't very nice and his work isn't very good as far as I've seen in terms of like the themes. I want to buy the book, but like, I don't want to spend money on it. But I want to see what people say that it relies on racist tropes. I want to see what racist tropes, just to make things clear. I don't really understand why he's such a shit person. Like he knows that art is a very small space. He knew that his students would grow up to become the new artists. Like, even from like a self-preservation part, right? You think, will you actually, if you do it, that'd be really nice, Margie. I'm not even kidding. I'll take a shoplifted book. I don't care. Shoplift from like Barnes and Nobles, by the way. Don't shoplift from like a small bookstore. Because like, that's like really important. Like, make sure you don't go from a small bookstore. But no, like, fuck, the Thomas Woodruff guy is just a cunt. Like, he's just another cunt. But the thing for me is like, this story is so low rent in terms of what he's done wrong. This is I've been quoting this whack article, by the way. This woman writing about comics article, because this is the one I read about him, and I thought I'd just show it. Whack. I like to show the people I'm quoting from. And like, I just want to like make something super clear. I don't care that this man got nominated for an Eisner. Like the problem isn't that he got nominated for an Eisner, because one of the things people bring up a lot, and I'm using the article, is that the entire Eisner nomination staff is like 6 white people. You know, whatever. I don't care. That's not like the biggest problem to me. Still, funnily enough, this doesn't matter to me. My biggest problem about this entire like fucking shit shamble around the guy who's a bit of a twat is like, it's in movies, right? The way you win like certain awards, like not the Oscars, and fuck the Oscars, but the way you win certain meaningful awards for in industry work often comes down to the thoughts of your peers, right? Or the way you win certain accolades and recognition comes down to the thoughts of your peers. all of your peers. It doesn't matter if those peers have worked with you or haven't. They talk about the things that they've seen you make, and they talk about you as a creative. And like, for me, the Oscars and by extension, the Eisners are so fucking hollow as awards because that's not your peers. Like, these people aren't my peers. I don't know these fucking people. And like, I think one of the problems I have with Eisner nominations is it's almost always exclusively the person who spent the biggest amount of money on marketing that year that gets to have an Eisner nomination. And I don't like that. I think one of the things that this entire thing has really revealed to me, and I think I saw someone say it on Twitter somewhere, but it's like, it's not about, you don't get nominated for an Eisner because you're good. Like, no, you don't get nominated for an Eisner because you're good. Otherwise, Laura Olympus wouldn't get nominated twice. And I'm not saying Laura Olympus is bad. What I'm saying is like the changing nature and tastes of people would mean that year on year, different IPs will get nominated for the Eisner position of best webcomic, right? But I think this is Laura Olympus's third year on the Eisner thing. And like, Rachel Smith deserves an Eisner. She has brought a lot to the comics industry, and I don't know where we would be without her work and her, but like, with the changing tastes of people, it makes no sense to me that this one creator has been nominated over and over and over again for the same work as well. Unless it's just a very small section of people who are essentially only being marketed to, and it's not a voting by my peers. Like, I didn't win it. Like, if I won an Eisner, it wouldn't be because people respect me. It would be because these 6 people that I just showed you saw my work because I marketed so hard that they had to see it, and they eventually checked it out, and then they finally had an opinion on it that was positive. Like, that's the requirement. You know? That's the requirement. And that's wild to me. That's wild to me. I don't know about you guys, but that's wild to me. I think an Eisner, a better future of awards for the Eisners is one where a lot more of comic professionals are choosing who gets in and who wins. Like, we could nominate people and then they could choose from our nominations. You know? Like, at the very least, if you still need to make this executive choice thing, we could nominate people and then you could choose from our nominations, and then we could vote on who wins from the nominations in the final nomination category. I don't fucking know. All I know is that right now, the thing that the Eisners, about the Eisners rub me wrong every year makes a lot more sense, because this guy basically got an Eisner nomination because he asked for it. He made it something with enough marketing money behind it because he had enough wealth to do so. And it got nominated. And it just and he's a shit person who hates the medium. Like, like, that doesn't happen if your peers are choosing who you goes in. Because I swear to God, not a single person would have put a Thomas Woodruff in their ballot box if they had the ability to control who went in there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm like full of shit. Maybe I'm not making sense to you guys. Tell me. But like, that's where I'm coming from. That's what I'm taking from this. Is that like, the problem with the Eisners is that it's so undemocratic that like, if you have enough wealth and clout, you can just ask, get in, and you're good. And that's fucked. That's fucked. Like, at the very least, give me the illusion that you're making that decision because of changes, because of interesting things. Like, Zoe Thorogood strongly deserves her 4 Eisner nominations this year. But at the same time, like, would we have gotten a more spread out group of nominations if more of the peers of the community made the decision of who was the most influential in what category? Probably. You know, in programming, there are awards for like best language, most influential person in comics, most influential, book. The programming book that was the most valuable, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And like, in the computer science space with those awards, those are all decided by you and by us, like other programmers, other people in the computer science space. And like, it's weird that comics doesn't get that for a space that is so so run and kept alive by the multiple people involved. It's weird that we don't get as much of like a say as to who gets our quote unquote highest accolade. Like, I don't know. I feel feels weird. I don't know about you, but it does feel weird to me. Anyway, maybe I'm not making. I don't want to go on about this too much, but maybe I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. Maybe you want to criticize me. I think one of my viewers said like, you know, the content of his comic isn't the biggest problem because like he's allowed to tell a story that's kind of racist. And yeah, I think they're right. He's allowed to tell a story that's kind of racist. But like, he's just there's other problems with him. Also, I found out that he made a painting of his own shit and that he forced the students to clean it up. He made a painting of Trump with his own shit and then unwrapped it, used the students' scanners to scan it, and then he left without cleaning the scanners and made one of the student workers in the lab clean the scanners. Honestly, you know what? King shit. If you want to, do you guys want to see the painting? Do you guys want to see the painting? I can show you the painting. I have the painting here. This is the painting. Fecal Buffoon, Portrait of a Shithead by Thomas Woodruff. It's too late. That's the painting. Gaze upon its power. He put this on the student scanner. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Oh my God. This man is an icon. Honestly, king shit. Forcing kids to clean your literal shit off equipment that the kids pay to use, but you get paid to monitor is honestly crazy. What the fuck? It definitely did. That's the worst part. You know it smelled. You know it smelled. And he left that on the thing. And then Thomas Woodruff pulls his art from the thing. And like, and then I get, somebody sends me a drill tweet to remind me of how it works. And it's like, so long, suckers. I rev up my motorcycle and clear the huge cloud of smoke. When the cloud dissipates, I'm lying dead on the pavement. Classic Thomas Woodruff move. Just destroy the scanner. Like the smell would kill me before I started painting. My chat really hates like that. Like, I really want to walk up to the 6 people in the Eisner nomination group and be like, "Yo, is this your king? Is this your king, guys? Is this your king? Huh? Like, really? This is the man you chose. Cool, whatever." That's not an accident. That's happy. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so that's that story. I guess we got that out of the way early. It's my fault. Now, let's actually get to the thing I really want to talk about today. MCM Comic Con. I was at Comic Con today. It was pretty fun, actually. Loved it. I went to MCM London Comic Con. I met one person that recognized my voice, which was very weird. They recognized my channel name and my voice, but other than that, nothing else. But I didn't meet anyone else. I didn't meet Theo. I forgot. I should have DM'd Theo, but I was too fucking lazy because I was working. I can tell you why I was there. I was there on behalf of Global Comics. I was doing this is on behalf of Global Comics. It's not like a big secret or whatever. They invited me to go. They paid for my tickets to go. But I used it to also, go to Comic-Con, see people, see things. I was there all 3 days. My feet are killing me. Jesus Christ, I'm going to die. My feet are killing me. My body hurts, and I bought a ton of books, and I think I'll show you my books later. But it was really good to like see a lot of creators. I met a lot of good comic creators. I met a lot of interesting comic creators. I met a lot of different kinds of creators. Tons of business cards. And it was just a really enjoyable time. The ending of Comic-Con is terrible because they basically sucked at telling us how to go. It wasn't sponsored. They paid for my tickets. Is that a sponsorship? Does that count as a sponsorship? I don't know. I don't think it does. I wish it was. I wish they paid. I wish it was, and also it wasn't for Webcomics Hub. I did work for them. Like, this was commission work. I'm doing work for them. I couldn't go under my name. I went under their name. I didn't even wear my own merch, guys. Mostly because I lost my merch hoodie like a few months ago. I don't know where it is. Guys, please. I have merch, but it's just for me. I literally made a hoodie just so I could have one. I should buy a new one. I should buy a new one. Anyway, it was pretty good. I was mostly advocating for them, but I really enjoyed being at a con again in London. After going to the Denmark con, this one was just a lot more chill, which is nice. I felt a lot less stressed out for once. Because cons like really stress me out a lot. Like, I'm not very good at handling the stress. But like, and I have to put on my marketing voice, and I've got to be like likable and all that crap, which I only have to do on stream for like a little bit, but I had to do that in person, which is exhausting. But I managed to grab I literally bought like 23 comics, maybe 30. I got a lot of great stickers. I saw a lot of content I would never normally see. I think the standout content for me from the con was called Spatchcock. That's a beautiful name, and it's made by Gavin Mitchell. Gavin is literally so funny. That's the standout comic. It was the smallest comic I bought. I also bought like a whole bunch of other stuff. I bought like 2 comics from Gavin. Gavin made two of my favorite things from the con. But I bought a whole bunch of other stuff. I even got a comic that I was invited to write on 2 years ago or whatever that I never wrote on for both issues. It's called Big Hype. I got the volume 2 for a really decent price without having to sign up to their Kickstarter. I was supposed to write in it like for volume 1 and volume 2. And I said no both times, or I just ghosted them because of my social anxiety. Which I really wanted to write as well. And now I really want to write for it. And I think they're doing a volume 3. And I'm not entering because I'm too scared that they will recognize that I didn't say anything the first 2 times. So that sucks. But I at least got the book. There was a lot of fun people I met. I met Zoe Thorogood, who's very funny. Her friend, How Galling, that's her account name. I forgot her actual name. Izzy, is incredibly funny. Izzy is so funny. She's literally one of the funniest people I ever met. I met the publishers around a publisher called T-Pub. They were really fun people. I had a lot of laughs with them. God, the amount of people I met that were really funny was great. It's always good to meet people who make me laugh, mostly because that's what I enjoy. I met a lot of proper people working with DC, doing cover art and stuff. And I picked up a Tim Drake Robin comic. I think this is issue number 7. Not a fan of Robin or Tim Drake, but the cover art is really good on it. So I'll probably show you guys that. And spoke to a lot of different kinds of comic creators. I found out that there is an indie publisher in my local area. That was really fun. They're called Sweat Drop. Spoke to their one of the people working at Sweat Drop called Sophia Leon. She's so smart, so smart. I spent a lot of time. Basically just walking up to people and chilling global comics. That was what I was paid to do. That's what I was paid to. That's what I was told to do, and that's what I did. But that was a pretty fun time. And I think generally it was good to meet people more local. I wish I met more Webtoon artists. I think I saw a total of 3 in all 3 days. I think I saw 3 Webtoon artists. Yeah, 3. At least ones that openly said they were Webtoon artists. Other people were thinking about publishing a Webtoon or already publishing a Webtoon, and Tapas and stuff. But people who were like openly like putting Webtoon in their banner and stuff, I saw 3 or 4. I met this really funny. You guys are gonna hear me say the word funny like a million times. Just please accept it. I'm trying to find their business card. I met this creator called Icky. They make a really cool comic called Space something. It's in my bag. I met 2 Webtoon creators who it was great to talk a lot about Webtoon with them. I met this person called Jen. She draws a furry comic. We got to convince Global Comics. He sent me to an American called, guys, I should go to NYCC. I should go to NYCC. If everyone comes out to NYCC to see me, I will fight for NYCC. I will promise anything, but I'll fight for it. I'll fight to go. I'll fight to get someone to sponsor me to go. Going to America is something that I always like doing, but not like I hate flights. That's the best way to put it. I hate flying, but God, I want to be in America for so many things. So all the cool comic stuff happens in America. I met somebody called Natasha who's doing like a Kickstarter for a D&D thing. It was really fun. God, I'm going through all my cards. Magic Fire, your comic book has been sitting. Magic Fire sent me a comic, a handmade comic. It's really good. But your comic has been sitting in my bag because I was reading it at work. And so when I was at the con, I pulled it out thinking it was my business card and I added it somewhere because it's really small compared to my hands. So yeah. Gleamy Arts refused to come to con with me because they're a motherfucker. Gleamy Arts, more like Gleamy Farts. Anyway, starting fights with the people who watch my show. The few viewers I have. Why am I doing this to myself? No, it was like a very interesting thing. I got to speak to people at Kodansha and a lot of like publishers. It was very nice. I speak to a ton of publishers and learn about like the metrics and the amounts. Like I found out that the best guy in comics right now, the best person in comics right now drawing pages, charges $1,000 a page. So double-sided, a full comic, maybe like 120 pages, $1,000 a page. That's just line art, no colors. So by the time you do everything, it's like a $500,000 is basically spent on getting a page out. If you like line and color and all this stuff, you can spend like $250,000. It's not $500,000, $250,000 on just getting a comic out, which I think is very funny in terms of quantities and amounts. Zero clients. The guys, I loved talking with the guys at T-Pub. They were so funny. Neil is really funny. Kenny, who also works at T-Pub, who signed my book, is super funny. I got tons of signed books. I got to speak to Joe Glass again, who I'm a really big fan of. Joe's one of the few British comic artists I'm a big fan of. I got a copy of his comic, The Pride. I got a comic that uses red blue 3D. I need to show you that. In fact, you know what? Let me just set up. I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna just fucking do it. Let's like do a show and tell. I didn't get Amputation Capital. I got Twisted Dark. Let's do a show and tell, gang. Let's do a show and tell. Forgive me. It's not gonna be like the crispest quality show and tell, and I hope you can forgive me for that. I hope you can all forgive me for like my lack of quality. But let's do a bit of a show and tell. Hi everyone. This is my hand. You've probably never seen it, but now you know that I'm actually black. This is all the stuff I bought. Let me actually start with the one I like the most. So let's talk about the one I like the most. This is it. This is called Spatchcock. It's like a weird detective novel meets comedy. It's what's called The Final Curtain. It's very funny. Hand reveal, right? It's very funny to me. The pages the inking is really good. The line work is really solid. The content's really good. You know the thing that really sold me on this comic? Where's that goddamn sticker pack? He gave me, Gavin, who's a sweetheart, gave me a sticker pack along with my comic issue, and it has Battenberg on it, kids, and a sandwich. Not gonna lie, that's literally why I bought this book. um, all my books are signed, which is really nice. Actually, I can show you everyone's signatures. Let me see. Did Gavin sign at the beginning? Where's your signature, Gav? Is that your signature, Gav? I think that's Gavin's signature. I think. I don't remember. Gavin did sign it, though. I know that much. Zoe signed my book. I feel really bad. I was in a call with other people. This is my Zoe Thorogood book. I actually really wanted this book, so buying it at con was pretty much a no-brainer. Zoe's really funny. That's her signature. I feel really bad, Zoe. They showed people this. I was talking to someone else the other day, and I was talking about like artist signatures I was getting at the con, and I showed them this signature here, the one in like small letters, as Zoe's signature, even though Zoe's actual signature is literally right next to it because I'm a dumbass. But no, it was super cool. Zoe is super funny. This is another Gavin book. It's actually a really cool book. This book is a bestiary based on Gavin's toys. And then Gav like drew out, let me turn on my light. Gavin then drew out like a bunch of monsters based on each of his toys. So that's the toy, that's the monster. Toy, monster. I think this is a great book. I love it. It's such a beautiful little bestiary. And I absolutely love it. You can actually, I think you can buy this still. I think you can buy this from Gavin. But yeah, that's all the stuff that's my favorite stuff. Like that's me showing you everything I picked because like I was really excited about it. Now let me show you a few things. Let's see. Where do we start from? This is a book I got from Joe Glass. Joe Glass is a writer. Love Joe. And Joe wrote The Pride. The Pride is an LGBT comic about LGBT superheroes, and it's super cool. Joe also wrote another comic called Glitter Vipers, which is also really cool. And it's set in Manchester, and it's so grounded in the UK. And as a UK frog, I'm here to say that it has the dead queen sign of approval. You can get it. The Pride is pretty cool. I like Joe's work. He works with multiple artists on this one, but The Pride is not my favorite thing I got, but The Pride is cool. Let's see, what else can I show you? Oh, this is Magic Fire's comic. This is the Magic Fire original, kids. I got this from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Magic Fire. It's very small. My hands are either very big or it's very small. It's very beautiful. It's a wonderful little handmade comic, and I love it. Let's see. This is the Tim Drake cover. That's all. I don't really care about that one too much. Let's talk about ones I care about. I bought this from Kodansha. I know they gave me this at Kodansha. Kodansha gave me this when I was having a conversation with them because I'm actually a really big fan of this comic. I'm actually a really big fan of this comic. I know you can judge me for that. It's fine. They also gave me this because I said I was looking for something new. Let's see. When I went to a table with this indie publisher called Sweat Drop. And these are their comics from one of their artists, Sonia Leon. Sonia is wonderful, very fun. Sweat Drop, that's their logo there. They're an indie like creator-owned like manga studio, is the best way to think about it. And this is her work. She's a very good artist. Sonia is super cool. She's worked with a lot of really interesting people. I have not read Oshinoko. I don't know what it's about. Is it bad? Is it like sexual? Should I be worried? But the thing that actually really interested me from Sweat Drop was this comic that was published by Self-Made Hero, but a lot of Sweat Drop artists participated in it, and it's called Catalyst, and it's an anthology. It's a comic anthology. I really enjoyed reading this one. I hope that wasn't a titty because I might get DM'd. I might get taken down. But yeah, it was really cool. This was one of the comics I got that I really enjoyed. I need to keep the table covered so it keeps looking clean. So just forgive me for that. I got this from a creator called Vivian Trong. I didn't really like a comic that she had on hand, but she had another one that was coming out, which I'm more excited for, that I'm looking forward to. But this was cute. Let me see. I feel like I'm missing a comic or two because I got quite a lot. Oh yeah, there's few in my bag. Give me a second. Ooh. I literally have to get all the ones that are currently in my backpack because there are more comics. Uh, um, also, this ad for this guy's game, that was cool. So I'm gonna put that on there. But if you're looking for a new game that might come out soon, it's called Death Bulge. Dan, who's running it, was really cool. I thought he was a comic artist, and he's like, "No, I'm not drawing comics anymore. I'm focusing on games." So that was fun. But the dude we had a great conversation about his game. Anyway, so this one, I don't remember what this one is. Let's see. Let's see, gang. What's in this bag? Oh yeah, I went to the Dungeon Delve creator. They were super nice. Katie, Oliver, super nice. Oh, you're 2 pages away from completing your comic. Great job, Gleamy. They gave me their card, and their comic is really fun. I think they're published on Instagram. You should go check them out. Let's see, what else is here? What else is in this giant pile of comics? Oh, this one was cool. I got this from, I forgot their name, but this was cool. Blue Fox Comics. This one was a good one. This one got given to me, I think, by this furry artist. I talked about her earlier. Her name is Jen. I'm just doing like a showcase of comics. Guys, this is my unboxing. This is a furry comic, kids. Okay? This is a furry comic through and through. Anthropomorphic, and this is basic. Look, there's wolves fighting. It's cool. This is it's really cool. It's called After Honor. So probably go check it out if you want to. This was one of the ones I was the most excited about. Is this? The creator, Icky, makes this comic called Space Lady. Look at that style, guys. Look at that art. Icky is super nice. Icky is really, really nice. Their art is so unique, and I love the aesthetic. I love the look. I love that it's stylized as hell. I got 3 comics called Samurai Slasher. There's a novel too. I don't know where I've put the novel, but I got these 2. This comic is really interesting because, where is it? At a certain point, it uses there. It starts doing this 3D thing. You guys remember when red blue 3D was a thing? Stereoscopic 3D. They have that in this comic. This comic is a mixed bag for me. I like the stereoscopic 3D shit. It was actually really cool to read because they give you 3D glasses to read this. It was really cool to read. But that's all it was for me. A little bit cool to read. What else is there? This one is also an autobiographical comic based on returning a DVD to a bookstore, but like as a samurai. It was very fun. This is Twisted Dark. This is from the T-Pub guys. They're so nice, so wonderful. If you want to read a funny, the strongest Twisted Dark story I've read is Volume 3, last story, about this girl who's like the most selfish girl in the world. She's like it's like a super cool story. My volume was signed by both Neil and Kenny. And I'm not going to explain this, but I'm going to tell you that there's context for this. Kenny is not a misogynist. Kenny's just very funny. But there is context for this. There's like a really good context for it. Okay. I can't tell you the context, but there is context. In Quality Street, the purple film works with stereoscopic 3D. I didn't know that. That's actually interesting to know. Huh. Makes sense. It makes sense. Women, Kenny. This is the Samurai Slasher novel. There's so many choose your own adventure novels around. This is also a choose your own adventure novel, I think. I saw so many of them. I'm actually going to be reading this. Nokia brick waffles. Shush. This is the book I was supposed to work on. The one I was invited to write for Volume 1 and then for Volume 2. It's a pretty dense volume. It's multiple indie artists working together and make 8-page comics. So, it's pretty good. I think it's called Big Hype. Volume 1 and 2 are somewhere. I think you can still buy them, but Volume 3 exists. I think it's going to exist. Here's another one. It's called Buzza or Booza. It's made by Shaz, what's going on in my YouTube chat? Sorry, I got distracted. What's going on in my YouTube chat? Hey, Paige, what's up? How are you doing? Nokia brick. I don't really know. I'm fine. I know what you want me to say, buddy. Anyway, this is Booza by Shazlin Khan. This is a really good book, actually. Shaz is like a really good artist. I think she used to work with Sweat Drop. That was very interesting. I'm just showing all the stuff I bought from Con page. All the things I bought at Con. That was pretty fun. And there was this duo of people under a brand called Big Punch Studio. And they both made like really cool stuff. And then they had like a crossover comic. They also have a commentary track for this comic. So when I was trying to buy something for them, they gave me this. I bought this instead. They both make two different comics. One of them makes Afterlife Inc., which is actually like a really cool comic about a guy doing capitalism and death, and Seven String, which is a really cool comic about people with people who are like musical notes with magic powers. I think that's the best way to put it. That's what Seven String's about. Yeah, I think this is everything. I think I've shown you everything I picked up, barring like maybe one or two things that are probably hanging around somewhere. Shown you everything. Yeah, it's a pretty good haul. This isn't everything you've seen. Like this is like a third of everything. There's like way more comics, but yeah, that is the sum total of people's comics. Space Lady is Icky is very nice. I need to keep saying that because they were super polite and super lovely and answered my questions, even though I asked really weird questions. So that was really nice. Anyway, yeah, that was how MCM Comic Con went. Now I want to talk about two things. One, there's a new head of Kickstarter's comic division. Let's hope that leads to a more interesting and diverse comic space for Kickstarter. The guy came from Comixology, so that's nice. Good to know that all the Comixology people are landing on their feet. And the second thing I want to talk about is, did you guys hear? The con has already happened, dude. Did you guys hear about what'd you call it? Did you guys hear about the situation around Ms. Marvel? Am I the only one that's heard about the situation around Ms. Marvel? Ms. Marvel, in the next Amazing Spider-Man issue that's coming out, a leak came out indicating that Ms. Marvel dies. And there's been like an uproar about how the writer of the comic is racist. I don't really know what to do with that, to be honest, because I don't know the guy. Am I going to MCM in October? Maybe. I might do. I'm going to Thought Bubble, which we're both going to, Gleamy. So we could probably go together, but I might go to MCM October. People are really mad at him. I don't have much to say, to be honest. I haven't researched the guy enough. Like the other guy, there's a lot of accounts. I didn't bother like looking into his individual person, but this guy, I don't know much about him. People bringing up that this whole Ms. Marvel murder killing thing is hack writing. I'm not super invested in current Amazing Spider-Man, so I don't have enough emotional stake in the game. But I'm just letting you know. If you're wondering why people are mad about Amazing Spider-Man, that's why. I thought I saw that Mary Jane in Spider-Man died, though not Miss Marvel. No, apparently it's Ms. Marvel, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's talk about the like really interesting story. Guys, do you think comic rights? Do you think that it's weird that like the rights for comics is always in some kind of weird flux? So I was reading the Korea Herald, as I do. And it's a story I missed from like the 12th of March. But essentially, the cartoonist and creator Lee Woo-young died. He's dead. He is dead. And he is the creator of the comic Black Rubber Shoes. He's been making that comic since 1992. It's a comic that basically talks about poverty and the difficulties of living in Korea in the 1960s, which is when Lee grew up. And like, you know, it's a nice, cute story. I think it ran from 92 to 2006-ish in a magazine. And sorry, I'm just like, I think it ran from 1996 to 1992 2006. It's a bot. It literally is a bot. Um, it literally is a bot. But yeah, you know, from 1992 to 90 to 2006, and like that creator, yeah, it's okay. That creator is apparently getting taking advantage of, and I say apparently, like it seems pretty cut and dry from what I'm understanding here. Basically, he was involved in a lawsuit with a local animation firm because essentially, um, he he was involved in a lawsuit with a local animation firm because the animation firm violated the copyright of his story, Black Rubber Shoes. Lee basically said he had received no fees from the firm who wanted to make an animation from his comic. He received no fees, nothing, no money, and like they basically taken the work of the labor of his time, and they're making money off of it, putting it on places like Netflix, etc., and doing nothing else with it, right? And he's engaged in a lawsuit with them. I don't know when they made the animation. I'm not fully sure of like all the details of the lawsuit, but what I do know is this situation seems to have led directly to the man offing himself, which is not ideal. That's such an understatement of the year, but yeah. And in response to that, the Korea yeah, I know. I met lots of members of the Korea Cartoonists Association, the chairman, Shin Il-suk, another author, Kwak Baek-soo, I'm saying his name so badly, but I'm trying, who writes Gauss Electronics, and also who I think creates all of Gauss Electronics, and the writer Lee Jong Bum of Dr. Frost. We all know Dr. Frost. That one we know. I don't know Gauss Electronics, but I know Dr. Frost. Along with the family of Lee Woo Young, the guy, the 51-year-old comic creator who is now dead, basically had a funeral rally for him in front of the Hungcho Publishing House building. A total of 40 people participated, and it was basically a funeral rally planned because to comfort the people in his life who had lost him, comfort the fans who had not even had time to like say goodbye, and to really raise the awareness of the fact that we can't keep having these terrible contracts where cartoonists and art and comic creators get treated badly, right? In his wife spoke about him. His wife spoke about one of his letters, or one of the last things in his final statement, and he said we need to change. And he said in his final statement, we need to change the reality in which creators stand at the edge of a tilted playing field. I am grateful to my colleagues in the comics industry for being with me, and I will be with you. And it's more about. This is another victim of our industry of terrible rights, especially in South Korea, where the dice are stacked against artists and creators in the space the game is stacked against them quite a lot more than you would expect. I don't really have much to say other than the fact that we lost a real one. That sucks. Like, doesn't matter the kind of person he may have been regularly, but he was one of us. He was a creator like all of us, and now the world is poorer because he is no longer there. And a big part of that is because the industry has no way of treating him does not treat creators like people. It's very depressing. It's very sad. And I'm going to link to I'm going to link to the article in the Discord if you want to see what happened, if you want to see essentially like the protest and the people at the rally and the things that were said, because there's a lot more that I can't cover. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. Speaking of an industry that treats people like shit, let's talk about artificial intelligence. Let's go. God. There's been a lot of AI conversation around either people firing all of their staff for AI, because all art industries are definitely healthy and good, and there's no problem in which a very select group of people make all the money while everyone else gets absolutely fucked. But there is a strong and very, I don't know how to put it. There seems to be a lot of like AI claims going around. I think I saw the one for Reika. I think that was the name of the game studio, saying that there was a lot of misinformation going around about Reika Studios or whatever firing all of their art staff. It's not true. They didn't do that. And replacing them with AI, they didn't do that. They didn't fire all their art staff and replace them with AI. That's not true. But AI has made its way into lots of different areas, and one of the places that it's in right now is in a new Webtoon that people suspect is using artificial intelligence, but they claim they're not using artificial intelligence. The Webtoon is called the King of Knights Returns with the Gods. I don't know what the translated name would be, but essentially they did all the work in-house, but people are claiming that they have utilized AI. What basically happened is they did a bunch of work in-house, and then they used AI to do some post-correction. So they used AI to do some post-correction, and it's very minor stuff. I can show you what I mean. Here are some of the shots. So on the left, you can see the actual shot, and on the right, they seem to have added a little bit more detail or some extra color, or just very small things, like some post-processing using an AI image generation tool. But no big changes. Almost everything is still made by them. AI is basically being used to supplement their artwork, which I don't think is bad personally, but I completely understand why people would think this is an AI project if they hear that part and not the other details. They used it in a very limited way, using it for things like shading adjustments, making effects look better. They basically had to clarify, look, we're all working on it. There's no AI making the comic. We use some AI to do some correction, do some cleanup, because we didn't want to waste our time doing busy work when we had more comic to make. But that's interesting. Currently, the National Assembly in South Korea is planning to make a bill to make it mandatory to disclose when AI has been used in a comic, which is interesting, which actually takes us on to our next story. Which is the proposal for basically saying this is AI generated content being created in Korea. I've read the proposal. It's very hard to read Korean because my Hangul is still really bad. I've been learning Hangul. I try to use my Hangul, and also I use a translator, but I mostly use the translator, if I'm being honest with you. And the act is under an act called the Contents Industry Promotion Act, and it's a partial amendment, it seems to be, to that act. And it basically proposes that when content such as text, image, music, etc., is created with artificial intelligence technology, the fact that the content is produced using artificial intelligence technology needs to be indicated. That's what the bill that is proposed wants to be, so as to reduce the confusion caused by false information. This will probably lead to a lot of AI generation tools having to watermark their content in some way, mostly image generation tools, so that people know it's made with AI, not just in the metadata, but like everywhere. Even the Adobe tool is watermarking content made with AI. And we all saw the big joint message from all the US departments about AI content and like them wanting to make rules around that. AI technology is moving really fast. AI image generation and content generation tools are moving really fast, and as such, people want it to be that basically you carry a badge when you use it, which I think is reasonable because, frankly, it's used to do so much misinformation that I'm surprised that it took us this long to fucking do this, fucking talk about this. The EU is also reviewing a regulation that makes it mandatory to mark content as artificial intelligence if it's created by an artificial intelligence. And of course, the US is also proposing a bill to make it mandatory to mark the source of political advertisement videos and photos made with AI. But of course, it might also extend into more normative work. So it seems to be an all-around thing that we're all thinking about AI and we're all going, we got to label that shit because it's getting away with way too fucking much. I'm happy about that in general. I think we should all be happy about the fact that that is the direction the industry is going, but I don't know. Kylie is saying, I still say the mindset of we have to cut off time and make it as fast as possible is what leads to the last story. Yes, I agree. I think the need to basically find a way to cut as much time away from art as possible and try to make content at all costs, quickly, instantly, is what leads to environments that create hostile places for artists and creators, and will lead to things like what happened to Lee Woo Young, something that is not deserved because he basically got fucked over by people who just wanted to make an animation and then didn't want to pay him because their whole thing was make content as fast as possible, and his contract probably just got set up. And people forgot to do their jobs because they were too busy making content. And the studio thought it would be fine to fuck him over and drag him into make him drag them into a lawsuit. It's a very depressing environment that we're working in right now. And I don't know. I would like comics to not make me sad, but at least I had Comic-Con, I guess. I think as an industry, we deserve a lot more in a lot of ways. We deserve an award system that doesn't fucking suck. That is governed by the people in the industry. Because whether we make amateur comics, quote unquote, or whatever the fuck, we are still like industry comic creators in our capacity. We deserve a place where our contracts aren't fucking us over. We deserve an environment where the things that happen to comicsology doesn't happen. We deserve an environment where what happened to Lee Woo Young doesn't fucking happen. It's sad. It's just sad. And I don't know how we fix it immediately, but I know for a fact that the way it is right now, it's shit. I think let me see from Paige. I think it's always better to take your time and hire a human artist if you can. I also feel for content brain artists who are just trying to get by using the tools that they can. Yeah, I think that there's got to be a balance where we're offering people tools that help them, but isn't about the speed. It's about the workload. I think if you're good, but I do think if AI tools get introduced, you just can't charge more money. You can't charge more money. You can't not charge more money. You can't pay artists less. My brain is fucking lost there. You can't pay artists less. Right? You can't pay artists less just because they're using AI to supplement their work instead of because that's the future I'm seeing coming about is artists you're starting to use AI tools to supplement their work to make production a little bit easier on their bodies because let's face it, we've already had multiple deaths from people just overworking themselves into the ground. We don't deserve another one. Our industry doesn't need more loss as a result of artists overworking themselves. And I don't know. This is where my brain is at right now. All of this stuff just made me super fucking sad, if I'm honest. So much work. So many things to think about. Whew. I'm sorry, guys, by the way, for making today really depressing. I didn't intend to. That absolutely is what will happen. I mean, Kylie, I don't think you're wrong. I'm not fighting you. But Kylie, the question I ask, and I genuinely asking a real question, is what do we do then about the in fact, you know what? I have a better question. How do you propose the economic model? And you don't have to give me a full-fledged answer. I'm not coming to you as you're a genius, solve all the problems. I just want to know what you think, right? This is not a gotcha. How do you propose we approach, and this is for everyone really, how do you propose that we approach an environment where an artist wants to make a comic? They have skills, but they don't have time, right? That's the thing. They have skills, but they don't have time. They work a full-time job, and they just want to make their comic. How do you propose they approach creating it in a reasonable time frame without breaking their back? Because as far as I understand it, everyone I know who's got a full-time job and is also making comics is basically killing themselves making comics. It's exhausting. I do the show once a week, and even when I miss weeks, I'm so tired. I can't imagine how tired you are and you're making comics on a regular basis, even if you, especially if you're aiming for like weekly or monthlies. I wish the companies would be forced to give them more time without cutting pay. I think so too. I think they should. I think that's one of the things that I think is reasonable, because I a reasonable amount of work. I think just like I think people who are posting once a month are doing reasonable work. I think that's my idea of this person's posting in a reasonable time frame, right? And I think a lot of people want to do that. They want to, because they still want to take advantage of like the systems that we have, the algorithms. Maybe the problem is that we have the algorithms at all, or the fact that the way they work is so bad on almost every platform. I don't know. I just worked on it as much as I could on the weekend, and it sucked. Yeah, and I feel like for those people, a tool that made some finishing touches easier would be nice. I don't think it should be AI, but I think tools should exist for them. Like I've been talking to somebody about making a toon shader for a while in Blender that like takes a model that is well modeled and like can flatten it like really hard, you know, into like a proper comic flattening, or take a background and flatten it really well. Not like a shitty toon shader, like one built for like making a webcomic. And like I think for those, I think that those kinds of tools are really valuable. I also think I think like those kind of tools are really valuable for comic creators. I think being able to make stuff like that is, artists have access to things like that is very helpful. I get that AI is not the solution, but I think that like tools like AI, that time reduction tools are going to become a necessity. But also I think you're making a really good point of like, the artist shouldn't be trying to hit, like as artists, our focus shouldn't be trying to hit the algorithm. Making the comic is the thing that we're trying to do, right? But also, I don't know. Your art doesn't have to be chugged out. Yeah. From Page, I do twice a month, and even that is a lot. Insane that a lot of contract artists are forced to upload weekly. I think that's insane too. Like you could, like there's so many better models of running the contracted system that could basically involve staggering artists to allow to make sure that the content vacuum, the content hole is always full of stuff, but also giving artists enough time to actually work on their stuff. My ideal contract will always be one where artists are paid a total amount of money for a book, and that book gets put out the way they want to on the platform, so they don't have to work that crazy set schedule. But yeah, I'm beginning to see a little bit more where Callie's coming from, because it's the idea of creating enough to fit the social media expectations and creating a comic are like two entirely different things we're talking about here. And like if we're making these tools to help people make comics, that's not what we're doing. We're not making an AI tool to help somebody make comics. We're creating an AI tool to help somebody chug out art. And like that's the problem. Because all it's gonna do is lead to more mistreatment. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna get way more stories, people getting pushed way more. And they even have like, I'm saying this like as if I didn't know this would happen. Like this happens in tech. Like it's a very small anecdotal story, but like in tech, every company used to run their own private servers to host all their data. And then Microsoft came up with Azure, which is like this cloud server system that's like really easy to use and easy to integrate, because you also use Microsoft email and stuff. And now every school, every company has like reduced their workforce in their server management, their data management group, their IT guys. They've dropped from like what used to be teams of 5 people that would actually manage a school or a system and get shit done to 1 guy or 2 guys or 3 guys for way too many people. And it basically makes a crazy backlog whenever anything happens. And it basically keeps the system running really slowly and poorly. But they did that because a tool came to simplify. So they fired most of their staff, which led to a very few of their staff that are left having to overwork. So like, I don't know why I'm surprised. Damn, man. The more shit changes, right? The more shit stays the same. It's like my last job, yeah. Like the perpetual downsizing by companies because they see a way to make things easier is kind of crazy. To make it weekly, you definitely wish assistance. I wish there were more funds for assistance and me as well. Yeah, I think so. I also think that I wish there was a better assistance culture. Hear me out, right? I wish that more people looked as assistants weren't overworked as much, but also I wish that there was like a better path to assisting. Assistants now are like a competition. I don't know. Maybe I'm like the weird one, but I think the way big Webtoon creators get their assistants, which is not their fault, I should say, not their fault, is a little creepy. Like it's a game now. It's like a competition. It's like they put out a tweet and then they poll for assistance. And everyone's got to basically fight for their attention. And like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that that's not okay. I think that like the assistant culture should be a lot more like it is in a very limited capacity, like it is in Japan, where assisting is a pathway to publishing. And so it's like a process of like there's a route there and you get known and you get recognized and you can build up your name as an assistant, but it's also a path into becoming an assistant. And it's not this competition where you basically have to like bid as low as possible to get an assistant job on Webtoon or whatever for some big creator. And yeah, you do get a credit, but like it doesn't really amount to much. I don't know. I feel like that's weird. It should be an assistant job board. Okay, I'm gonna be really annoying. There is an assistant job board, but I think there should be a dedicated assistant job board. Should I add that to the list of things I'm working on? No, I know exactly what I'm gonna do about the assistant job board. Don't worry about it. I know who to go to about the assistant job board. I think I need to work with someone at the assistant job board because there should be an assistant job board for sure. A really good one where the onus is on the author to offer money. It's on the author to offer money, not the artist to undervalue themselves. Like it will still be applications, but the author offers the money, and it's a lot more controlled in that direction. I would like that, and I think I know what to do. I think I know who to speak to. I think I know the people to go to. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's been today's conversation. I don't know any questions anyone want to ask me. Anything people want to talk to me about? Tell me now. Because I'm happy to talk about anything right now because I'm feeling a lot more energized now that we ended when we got to this point where it's a lot of a nicer note. I feel a lot better. Even though things aren't good, I think that there's a chance for them to look up because all of us care. And because we all care, things will get better. Like it's not a guarantee, but fuck it, it's something. It feels like Fiverr and people charging like £2 for full logo designs. It's insane. It does feel like Fiverr. It's so fucked. So fucked. Do I have a comic? Not anymore. I have a couple scripts for comics. I have a couple scripts right now, but I'm so picky about the artists I want to draw for me. Like one of the artists I want to draw for me is called Secret Pie. Couldn't get her. One of the other artists I wanted to draw for me cost way too much because I'm like they're charging the appropriate amount for themselves. Like they're charging what they're worth. I'm just too broke. My stuff is really high concept stuff. Like it's not high concept. My stuff is really like weird. I can tell you about one of them if you want to know. Which one can I tell you about without getting DMs, without getting like copyright claimed? Yeah, I can talk about the one I'm writing right now. I'm writing a space adventure called Zor, SZ0 RRRRR exclamation mark. Yeah, I use a 0 for an O because I thought it would print better. With a space adventure about some guys on the frontier. Zor is about these guys named Humphrey, and the main character's name, which I haven't settled on yet, but Humphrey is like a side character. They go into the plot basically follows them. The plot basically follows them. Let's just say we're going to call main character for right now, okay? I don't name my characters very often. Often, and all my characters' names are literally things like their job. Like in one of my comics, the character's a reporter, and her name is Reporter. Anyway, so these guys live at the frontier of far Earth space. That's what I'm calling it. And like basically, they're water farmers, right? On a desert planet. And like the main character, MC, hates water farming. He wants to become a spacer, big spacer guy, right? Humphrey loves water farming. Humphrey loves the frontier. Humphrey loves his family. Humphrey loves the main character. You know, this is all he's ever wanted, right? This is everything for him. He's a simple man. Humphrey and main character go into town to get a drink, hang out, and like, you know, just take some time away from work. Where main character complains about what he always complains about, which is becoming a big spacer and leaving the town. And then they get kidnapped. They get kidnapped and they get taken as slavers. They get taken as slaves and sold off into slavery to different people. So the most of the story follows main character, as it should. And main character spends a lot of his time, spends quite a lot of his time in this space adventure working as the help on a ship. So this is the part of the story where it becomes very Nen based. The main character thinks like him becoming a slave on this ship is his path to becoming a spacer, because basically this captain is super lazy. She's so lazy. She doesn't want to do any work. She hired a slave to basically save her work because she's so lazy. She's a great pirate captain and everything, but she just cannot be fucked, right? So she hires him to do stuff, but he's such a fuck up. He's such a fuck up. Like, he's the biggest fuck up in the world. So she basically cleans up after him. And basically at some point she realizes that the only value he has is that he's companionship. At least she's not alone, but he's such a fuck up. But main character doesn't realize this. He thinks that he thinks he's that girl, you know? He thinks like he's becoming a real legitimate spacer. And as the pirate captain accumulates a few people for a crew, he thinks he's in charge because she basically always tells him to report to him, and he reports to her, and they discuss things, but really she makes decisions. He just thinks he's making decisions in the conversation, right? Like, that's their conversations. It's like very hard to write their conversations because like I need to basically write someone who thinks they're making decisions without making it obvious that they're not making decisions. And like he spends a lot of time thinking like he's in charge and everything. And eventually he meets back with Humphrey. Okay, guys, Humphrey made it. Humphrey's a spacer. Humphrey's got the girl. Humphrey's got a crew that loves and respects him. Humphrey's got an award. He's basically Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy. People love him. He's got everything. Humphrey got that on lock, right? And the thing is, everyone that Humphrey's ever met thinks the main character is the shit. Like, they think he's the greatest guy ever because Humphrey tells everybody about his friend from the frontier and how much he loves him and how great of a friend he is and how much he just wants to get back with his friend so they can go back to water farming. The girl even has given up her life to go back to water farming with him. Okay? That's where we're at with Humphrey and main character. So they meet. And main character finally dawns on him that nobody listens to him, that he's not in charge of anything, that Humphrey is living his dream and he has nothing. That's how they meet. A lot stuff ensues, but I'm just going to tell you guys the ending because it doesn't matter if you know the ending because getting there is what matters. But the ending, it's not the ending, this isn't the ending, but I'll tell you guys one of the action climax. Main character kills the bad guy by accident. Main character kills the bad guy by pure accident. Even in his attempt to finally be vindicated, do something on purpose, he kills the bad guy by pure accident, and he causes more issues with his actions that he solves. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. He doesn't kill Humphrey. Humphrey's not the bad guy. Humphrey's still a good guy in the end. The bad guy is quite literally the bad guy is quite literally an evil capitalist, like businessman. Which is so generic, but he's not supposed to matter because the bad guy doesn't really matter. I just wanted them to have an adversary. But yeah. It's so funny. It's so fun. I love writing these characters. I love Humphrey a lot because every time you write Humphrey's dialogue, it's literally like, "Hey, buddy, how are you? I love you." Like, that's all he says. Like, I'm not kidding. Humphrey, if I wrote in the AU side story, in the never gonna be written side story plot point, Humphrey, when he becomes a slaver, gets basically like he arrives in the place where he's become a slave because he's basically been made to be like a bartender slave, like he's working for a bar. And when they take him there and they like take off his mask, so they give the sack on his head, so because he doesn't know how he got there, right? When they take off his thing, he sees the guy who just bought him from slavery, and he says, "Thanks for getting me, bud. I hope I can be useful." And then Humphrey becomes like this beloved man in the pub that he's working in, and then like the bar owner releases him because Humphrey's like, "I'll stick around either way," and Humphrey actually sticks around for like a few more weeks. And then like more hijinks ensue, which involve him having to leave. And then the bar guy like goes, "I'm gonna miss you, buddy," and never gets a slave again, and pays all his staff from then on because Humphrey just made him such a different man. Like, that's Humphrey. My man is such a good guy. Not a bad bone in his body. Like holy shit. Beth Jesus. Beth Jesus. Like he's such a wonderful man. Or Humphrey there was he learned how to play a musical instrument so that he could like make the bar he was at a little bit more lively. He's just a dumb nice man who's like really skilled, who and he's not skilled because like he's like naturally talented. He works really hard. Like one of the key things that you learn very quickly is that like when he leaves the frontier, he's a clueless idiot. But when you finally meet back with the main character, Humphrey is like giving orders. He knows things about ship parts. He knows about space. He knows about space travel. He understands like when to like delegate, and you like see that in the things that he says and he does, right? Um, and so like it's very fun. He's very fun because he works hard for his information. The main character, the reason he's such a fuck up is because he has dreams with nothing but no follow through. He he has dreams but no follow through. He has no fucking follow through on this planet. This is the only comic I can tell you guys about because the other three are so fucked up. Like this is the only normal thing I've written in years. Everything else is like horrifying and horror and gross out and like gory and bloody and um just horrible. Yeah. Jesus. I didn't even think I'd talk about this today, but yeah, that's my only good comic that I could talk about. Only YouTube friendly comic I've got. I could tell you the other one sometime if you want to know, but I'll mostly have to do it in the Discord. But yeah, any other questions? Anyone want to know anything else? The horror one is just like gross out horror. I only write things that are like existential dread stuff, but like existential horror stuff. That's what I write. But it's really like graphic stuff. Um, a lot of them are born out of my fear and my insecurities and my worries. So like they're very like ah yeah. Yeah. I've also I want to just make it clear, because I've worked with global comics, I should tell you guys, any global comic stories I write from now on, for like podcast stuff, we'll probably have to go through my producer Tyler because she needs to like keep me from writing the wrong thing because bias and shit. Just letting you know that bias, there'll be things put in check to check my biases. Um, do I like pulling a lot of real life experiences in my writing? It's not on purpose. It's by accident. I don't do it on purpose. I start writing and then eventually like I write the entire like synopsis and then I realize that it's like a thing that happened to me and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Or it's like a thing I'm worried about, or it's like a concept I'm scared about, or it's like something that I've had nightmares about. Like I wrote one based on the fact that I used to walk by this neighbor's house, this like neighbor's apartment in my last apartment block, and I would always be able to see into their window, and I would always like see little snippets of their life. And so I wrote a sci-fi horror comic about it. And like it's just gross. It just ends terribly. The main character dies. Like it doesn't. It's not nice. He dies in a horrible way as well. It's not very nice. It's not cute. It's not teehee. You know. Um, I need to like. The thing is, fine. I'm also because I write stuff like that. I'm super picky. Like if I wanted to have Zor drawn, I want someone like the Room of Swords artist. You guys know Room of Swords? Everyone know Room of Swords? I want like that artist to draw it, or like the Space Dandy artist, or someone like that. Meet cute horror. Hello. Like that's the kind of thing that my brain latches onto when I think of like people to draw my content because I'm super picky because I want to make sure that like I'm getting around the right themes, not because I think people aren't quality. I think everyone's art is quality, but I want to make sure I'm getting along the right kind of themes between myself and like the story I'm telling in the audience. That's what it is. Yeah. I feel like it's part of what's hampering me because I always manage to pick artists that are busy. Because if they're good, they're probably busy. That's like a rule of thumb. If they're good, they're probably busy. Um, but that's nice. I just a lot of scripts just sit down in like my folder. Like there's a script for a horror comic sitting in my folder. The only thing I'm writing that might come out this year is I'm writing an audio drama for a webcomic. I'm writing an AU audio drama for a webcomic. Um, and like the whole point is I'm writing and I've picked a webcomic and I'm gonna write an audio drama and I'm gonna go to my voice actor friend and we're gonna see if we would like to, if she would like to help me producing it. That might come out, but there's no guarantees. Um, Also, minor update for people who care. Workshop, the lettering workshop is literally going really well. I got an email from one of the people who's answering our questions, Lucas Gattoni, who's helping us with a lot of our questions, a lot of our work, a lot of our thoughts and stuff. And Lucas has answered a ton of our questions, has been super helpful. And we're just trying to have people display their how they letter on some of the work that we have around. If you have a very stylistic comic, can you like DM me some of your panels with like the text you want that you would letter but no lettering on it? No, that includes no bubbles, right? Um, if you don't mind, that would be really helpful. It's not going to be sold or anything. It's just going to be used for our demonstration in the lettering workshop. I would appreciate. It doesn't have to be super long. Literally, just somewhere where we could get like a good non-bubble lettering and some bubble lettering, and that's it. Okay, um, just so we can showcase the way these artists, these professional letterers work on different kinds of mediums. Um, and yeah, we're talking to a few people that are super lovely and super nice. One of them's an Eisner nominee. Very happy that an Eisner nominee is having it. I know I said all the stuff I said about the Eisners earlier, and I'm still right about that, but look, like they do deserve it. Lucas is such a fucking star of a person. God, love Lucas. Love him absolutely to the ends of the earth. But yeah, that's me today. That's everything. Unless anything else comes up, unless any questions come up, um, yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for staying. I always appreciate when you guys give me your time of day and stay on the channel and like watch the streams and stuff. Um, I work really hard on the stuff that I want to show you, and I appreciate that you guys give me your time for that. I'm looking for unique lettering. Now I'm looking for a very stylized comic, a very stylized comic. I'm going to people who are already doing professional lettering, but I want a stylized comic because I want to see the way the artists implement their lettering into different styles of comics. That way I can show you guys in the workshop what they do and how they do it. And like, really big thanks to Pearl Waters because she's super helping up. She's basically like owns that project. She's super lovely about it. And she's been like following them up, helping people, getting people to do work, having conversations with people, coming up with ideas, and just really like keeping that going. Without Pearl, I would never get this project done because I'm doing the how to write comics workshop, and she's helping me with the how to do lettering workshop, and she's also helping when all the artists do all their lettering and stuff. Pearl is helping translate all their lettering skills to Clip Studio, so that she could show you how to like hack around like what the skills that they're showing in the video, so that we can like put all that stuff in. So that's like I really need to say Pearl is like literally the best patron and the best member of Webcomics Hub that I have to work with right now, because she has never let me down. And not only that, she's just always contributing. Her and Tyler, my producer, are so valuable to the group. Yeah. Hopefully, when I get this workshop shit done, I can finally focus on making a comic collective. But that's future me thing. That's future Nen problems. Will I ever get shipped my books? There's so many books that I ordered that I haven't arrived yet, and I'm worried that before I leave, they'll never arrive at my apartment. So that's fun. That's something to think about. Yeah. I need to go check in on those. Anyway, thank you everybody for all of your company, all of your time, all of your lovely, lovely selves. I'm gonna go take a nap. Actually, that's what I'm gonna go make salmon fried rice, and then I'm gonna take a nap. I love your faces. I'll see you next week, as always. Maybe we do something different. If you want me to do different content, you can tell me in the podcast suggestions on the Discord server. You can tell me on Patreon if you're a patron. I always love it when patrons ask me for new content. Patron-only video will be coming out sometime at the beginning of next month. I'll probably make like 2 or 3 like I made this month. Patrons this month got 3 patron-only videos because I was just feeling really bored. Hey, patrons, do you want me to do a full video going through each of the sets of comics I bought at the con and talking about them in more depth and showing you more panels and discussing themes after reading them? I think that'd be super valuable. I think I'll do that for the patrons. So yeah, if you want to get stuff like that, you can become a patron at patreon.com/webcomics hub or follow me on Twitter at webcomics_hub. I never know who watches this, but thank you. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. Eat my shorts. Why did I say eat my shorts? Do I think I'm funny? Do I think I'm hip? Paige! No, not Paige. Paris! No! My child. Well, you can watch it after Paris because like it's a little shorter than it should be. All right. Peace out.